Greetings and assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to another video. This is your host Munib. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a cloud NAT and cloud router both using a single console for giving the internet access to the private servers. Okay. So right now in this case, I have three servers. One is Bastion Host, which is Windows based, and other two servers are private. One is Windows private and other is Linux Ubuntu private server. So I will be giving the internet access to both Linux as well as Windows server so that they can communicate to the internet. And along that, I will show you the demo that how you can install something like web server or ping to any other website using cloud NAT and cloud router. And also I will show you the demonstration that, for example, if I want to download or install something, so without cloud NAT and cloud router, will they talk and communicate to the internet or not? Okay. As well as I will access the private Linux server from Bastion host with the custom generated key using PuTTYGen. Okay. So I will cover this two agenda in this video. And without wasting your time, let's jump into Google Cloud Console and let's start this hands-on lab. Okay, so right now, as you can see that I have these three servers. One is Windows public. It is considered as Bastion host, and remaining two servers are private server. Okay, one is Windows server, and this one is the Ubuntu server. Okay, so let's access the Bastion host first. Okay, so right now I'm inside the Bastion host Windows server, and let's try to access the private Windows server. Okay. So I will be copying the private Windows Server IP, which is this is the internal IP. Internal IP is considered as private IP, and the external IP is considered as public IP. Okay. So I'm in mobile exam right now. This is the Bastion host, and let's type mstsc and type the password IP here. Okay. So it will ask you the password. So for that, let's just go to console. Okay, so go to set Windows password. Okay, one thing I have mentioned in the last video that the username would be same as your Gmail account. Okay, before @. So it will be automatically set, so you don't need to set it by yourself manually. And this is the password. Okay, so the username would be, in my case, would be this one. And let's just type the password here. And yes. So as you can see that I'm inside the private Windows server. Okay, right now without CloudNet, for example, if I want to ping google.com or any other website, okay. So let's type ping google.com. So you can see that it is not reachable or it is not pingable. Okay. Okay, so I'm in my local PC and let's type PuTTYGen. Okay. So we will generate a custom key and hovering the mouse so that it can generate a randomness in the private key. You can see that it has generated the private key. So we need to first we need to change the key comment and type the username which you want to key with. Okay, so in my case, I will keep my name as Manib because the thing is that whatever the username I have set right now, it will ask you on Linux server when you try to access that private server. Without username, you will not be able to access and use that private server. Okay, so that's the reason. And we need to see if the username reflects at the last of the key content or not. As you can see that the Munib is still showing. So we need to copy this file, but first save this private key. Okay, yes. And let's give it name as GCP Linux private key. Okay, and save. So this key file has been saved. And in the meantime, let's just open the console again. Okay, so let's go into the Linux Ubuntu server details. Click on Edit. In the Edit section, you will see an option of SSH key. So go to Add Items and paste the content of the key that you have generated right now and delete this previous and save. Okay. So in order to access this private Linux server, we have to make sure that we have a key pair, private key pair file so that we can access that server easily. Okay. Okay, so I'm copying this file by Control C and Control V, so that the file will be copied and pasted inside this jump server. Okay, so I have already installed PuTTY on this jump server, and let's try to access this private server. Okay, I will show you one more thing, that we cannot update or upgrade or even install any packages inside Linux server without NAT gateway. Okay, so SSH authentication and credential, and add this file and open it. Okay, as you can see that it is asking login as. If you don't have or set the username in the GCP SSH key section, so you will not be able to access that server. So let's change its appearance so that you guys can see it clearly what I'm trying to do right now. So increasing the size, and if I log in as Munib, so that as you can see that I'm able to access this private Linux server. Okay, so for example, let's try to ping google.com. So as you can see that it is still not reachable or it is not pingable right now. Okay, let's try one more thing like sudo apt update. So it will show you this connecting to packages.googlecloud.com. Okay, because the internet is not connected to this server as well. So right now we have two situations. One is that two servers, one is Windows server and other is Linux server is not connected to the internet. So in that case, GCP or Google Cloud provides you the feature that you can use to give the internet access to this server. Okay. Okay. So for that, let's go to CloudNet. CloudNet is basically a service, and it is basically a component of Google Cloud VPC. So as you can see that we don't have any CloudNet. So go to get started, and you can give name as Munib. Okay, so I have given name as Munib VPC Cloud Net, and I will select my own VPC, and it will ask region. Okay, in my case, the Northern Virginia region is considered as private because in VPC, let me just open the VPC. In my VPC, if you go to subnet section, so I have given this uh, region US East 4, which is Northern Virginia, and I have considered this subnet as a private subnet. Okay, so when you always create a NAT gateway, so you have to select the private subnet, but the connectivity type would be public. Okay, and it is asking you to create a cloud router. So I have this existing cloud router. So instead of using existing one, let's just create a new one. So give it name as cloud router Munib GCP. Okay, and create, and leave rest of the options, and then create. So the status, it is showing running, and it took hardly a few seconds to provision the NAT gateway. So let's go back to jump server, and as you can see that it is showing error. Okay, so let's clear the screen again, and let's just try to ping google.com. So as you can see, after creating the cloud net as well as cloud router, so it is showing you the ping results, which means that it is pingable. Okay, as you can see that it is now connected to the internet, and open the CMD. Okay, if I type ping google.com, so as you can see that this private Windows server is now connected to the internet, and it is showing the ping results. Okay. Okay, so this is the demo right now, and the demo is complete. And I hope you guys have understand the overall process, that how you can create or generate your own custom SSH key for Linux server, and then how you can give the internet access as well to the private servers in GCP. So thank you so much, everyone, and take care of yourself and your loved ones.